Spring of 2004, I was in Ramadi, Iraq, with the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, the magnificent bastards. And before we would go out on patrol, I'd gather my men up, or my platoon sergeant would have me say a prayer or read a psalm before the Lord and before we'd head out into potential conflict. And I never knew then how real the deliverance of the Lord could and would be. We got into a situation on April 6, 2004, where my squad was out there and we came under heavy attack. There was 11 of us and an estimated 60 to 70 insurgents. We were surrounded, cut off. Our squad got separated, so we weren't even a full force while we were out there fighting. And the enemy just kept pouring in. They were in elevated positions. They were up the street, down the street, rooftops, balconies, RPGs, hand grenades, AK-47s, RPKs. They had us right where they wanted us. And their mission, what we figured out what they were trying to do, was to cut us off from any support. But it wasn't too long and they found out that we had another support. One that they could not cut off, one that could reach down to us from wherever he may be, and that is the Lord. And I have a special psalm that I want to share with you about my day of battle, where the Lord heard my cry and he listened to me and he did something with it. So Psalm 116, it says, this is King David, a warrior who has been there and done that and been in way worse situations than I ever have and that you ever have. He says, I love the Lord because he has heard my voice and my pleas for mercy, because he inclined his ear to me. That means God took his ear and reached down, held it down to David and said, David, talk to me. What do you got to say? God's done that for me. Because he inclined his ear to me, therefore I will call on him as long as I live. He goes on and he says, the Lord preserves the simple. When I was brought low, he saved me. During this firefight, where we were outnumbered and outgunned and surrounded and cut off, low on ammo, I was wounded, bleeding from a hand grenade explosion. Another team member next to me, bleeding from the same hand grenade. One of my Marines was killed in action, laying in front of me, and I was brought low. I was in the prone position, ready to freaking vomit from the concussion. Nothing but tragedy all around me, and I was brought low. I was at the lowest point in my life. I've never been that low. I've never been that scared. It's never been that helpless for me, and it never has been since that time. But I was brought low, and I cried out to the Lord, like King David says. And when I cried out to him, me and my men were literally shooting at the enemy and yelling to God to hear us and pleading with him to deliver us from our situation. And David says that he answered me. And that's what God did to me. He answered us. And when he answered us, we knew it, because we had helicopters overhead and we heard heavy guns in the background, and the Marines were coming for the Marines. And it wasn't the Marines' guns and their tactics and their capabilities. It was the Lord, because they got there just in time, right before it was all over. And I'm just thankful to God for his deliverance. I'm thankful to God for listening to me. And if you're in a situation in life where you feel like you're alone and you're outnumbered and you're cut off and you're low on ammo and you're wounded and you're bleeding and you're about to die, I can tell you that you're low. And if you are low, then you're right where God needs you to be to call out to him. Because if you're not low, you're probably not going to call out to him. Let me encourage you to do it, because he is a God who will bend his ear down to you, and he'll hear you and he'll answer you, just like he did me. The Marines came and they got us out of there. And I'm alive today to tell you about it because he did it. And David here, he says, because you delivered me from death, my soul and my present state delivered from death, I'm going to walk before the Lord in the land of the living. And that's what I'm here to do today. I am going to walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I'll see you next time. Day of Battle out.